Hi, I'm going to tell you a story about a time I forgot that I knew how to hear the animals, which is pretty funny because I've been doing it professionally for, I don't know, 15 years or so. But it's also funny because we all know how to do it. People who come to my classes, that's what I tell them. I'm not teaching you how to do this. I'm reminding you, giving you exercises so that you can remember that you already know how to do this. So it was pretty good that I'd forgotten. So what happened was, this is a cautionary tale. I brought my horses to a new barn that I was leasing. It was just the two of my horses. It was a nice space. There was pasture and paddock in the back, and then an arena that led into the barn, and then, a front part that they weren't allowed in. Well, there were lots of gates and doors. I hadn't been there long. And I was sitting after they'd eaten and they were grazing. And I was sitting one fall evening, kind of late in the afternoon, not evening, late in the afternoon, but the sun was leaving. It was September, maybe even October, but it was a nice night. And I'm on the phone talking to a friend, and suddenly I see the two of them come flying out of the barn, full speed ahead. They go next door. I'm like, what? They're like running across the property next door. I panic. I run back into the barn, grab a halter and lead, just one. I just grabbed, and I take off after them, and they're not there. They're not on the property. And the owner of that property comes out. We'd met before. I'd been there a few weeks. And he's like, can I help you? And I'm like, my horses are gone. And I'm in my barn glasses. These are my computer glasses. I have three pair. My barn, so I can't even see very well. They're old. They're good for, getting full of dirt and grit, and if a horse hits you in the head with their head. So I couldn't even see very well. And the sun's starting to go down. I'm freaked out because we're on a busy road. Now, this is rural Illinois, so it wasn't like expressway or anything, but it was fairly busy. It went into town and people drove 60 on it. That was the problem, that it was speedy. So he said, get in my truck and we'll drive around. And well, look, so we're driving. I don't see anything. My mind is going. I'm like coming out of my body with worry. And we drive down the road. I'm like, they wouldn't have crossed the railroad tracks. They just wouldn't have. Yeah, and we're looking on both sides and it's getting dark now. We drive back, and I'd called the sheriff to send somebody. I said, because it's dangerous. If there could be a car crash if one of my horses is in the road. They sent somebody out. She was there 2 seconds and left. Okay. So we drove back and forth, and finally I breathed. I didn't say this to him. I didn't know this man that well. I breathed and I said to myself, Pam, you're an animal communicator. It's like, just ask them where they are. Breathe, calm, center, ground. And the minute I did that, Firsty, my gelding, said, we're right over here. And I turned and I said to the man, they're in this field. And he turned in. We couldn't see them. We turned in. There was a road, for machinery. It was a cornfield or something, but it had all been taken down. They'd all been harvested. And so we drive in, and in the headlights, there's my two eating, grass and corn, which is really what I don't want them eating, right there. It was right next to his property. So they'd run through his property and just into the field on the other side. But I couldn't see them. And so there you go. And I got out, put the lead rope on my boy, Firsty, and walked him back, which was tricky because it was dark now, and I had crummy glasses and there was no trail. But I walked him, and then Tara followed. No, the opposite. I put it on Tara because she doesn't care if she's by herself, but he does not want to be by himself. So I put the lead rope on her and walked her, and Firsty was right behind him. But the moral of the story is, first of all, that we can do this, but we can't do it when we're frantic. And we can't do it when we're trying. It wasn't, trying to hear them. It's about calming, centering, and allowing. And I do teach this in my classes. I'm not just telling you to do it. But maybe you can just plug into that remembrance that you know how. But just want to say, when you're frantic and trying really hard and your brain's going, blah, blah, no, you will not hear them. It's not going to happen. So that's my little tip for the day. of learning to ground and center and allow. And you can do this. We can all do this. I'm Pam Sorellis, Winged Horse Healing. You can learn more about my work at wingedhorsehealing.com. And see you again soon. Thank you.